So we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 26, Page 26. Yah, any person who too, but Iha, in this life, Hai, indeed, Savaranam, of the same caste, Bharyayam, his wife, Dijjo, a person of a higher caste, such as Brahmana, Kshatriya, or Vaishyas, Retaha, semen, Payanti, causes to drink, Kama Mohitaha, being deluded by lusty desire, Tam, him, Papa Kittam, performing sin, Amutra, in the next life, Reta Kulyayam, in a river of semen, Patayit, Patayitva, throwing, Retaha, semen, Sampayayanti, forced to drink. Translation and purport by Divine Grace of Vachananda Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada. The foolish member of the thrice-born classes, Brahmana, Kshatriya, and Vaishya, forces his wife to drink his semen out of a lusty desire to keep her under control. He is put after death into the hell known as Lalabhaksha. There he is thrown into the flowing river of semen, which he is forced to drink. Please respond. If a foolish member of the twice-born classes, Brahmana, Kshatriya, and Vaishya, forces his wife to drink his semen out of a lusty desire to keep her under control, he is put after the death into the hell known as Lalabhaksha. There he is thrown into a flowing river of semen, which he is forced to drink. Purport by His Divine Grace, Bhaktivedanta. The practice of the forcing of one's wife to drink one's own semen is a black art, practiced by extremely lusty person. Those who practice this very abominable activity say that if a wife is forced to drink her husband's semen, he remains very faithful to him. Generally, only low-class men engage in this black art. But if a man born in a higher class does so, after death he is put into the hell known as Lalabhaksha. There he is immersed in the river known as Shukra Nadi and forced to drink the semen. Jnana-timirandasya jnana-anjana-salakaya chakkara-nimiletanjena tasmai Sri-Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Thapitam Jana-bhutale Soyam Rupa-Kadamayam Dadati Sapadantikam Vandeham Sri-Guru Sri-Dutta-Pada-Kamalam Sri-Gurun Vaishnaparam Cha Irupam Sagrajatam Saganasi Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sa-divam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana-saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Radha Krishna Padan Savamaritam Sri Visakham Vitam Cha हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्ते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यः वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमती भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So thank you very much for attending Srimad Bhagavatam class. So we are continuing the innumerable myriad punishments has been awarded in the hellish condition life in hells. So this is one of them. So we should understand that this is a typical example of a excessive indiscriminate sense gratification, and the repercussion is very grave and gargantuan. So why this all the punishment is there? you see that that from the birth only we have this tendency. The sense gratification is very much by default from the birth, human birth, because we have turned away from the Lord to enjoy sense gratification. So therefore, Shastra says that everybody, the sense gratification is there by the birth. So unless it is curbed, then we have to have this repercussion. We have to have these consequences, very grave and gargantuan consequences. It is said that why all these things? Because human birth from the beginning only, say that simply by material birth, human being become attached within their mind to personal sense gratification, long duration of life, sense activities, bodily strength, sexual potency, friends and family. Their minds are thus absorbed in which defeat their actual self. Krishna bhuliya jiva bhagavancha kare nikatastha mayatre jhapatiya. As soon as we turn away from the Lord, then we are now completely, our mind is now absorbed, immersed in the sense gratification. It's a natural thing. Sense gratification is nothing like that, is something new. It is a natural from the birth only. And this mind has a natural proclivity. Mind has, he said that guneshu avishwata cheta guna cheta sisa prajaha jivasya deho bhayam guna cheta madatmanaha. So this is a very good word. My dear son, the mind has a natural proclivity and to proclivity to enter into material sense subject. And similarly, the sense subject enter into the mind. But both sense subject, mind and sense subject are merely designation that cover the spirit soul, which is a part and parcel of me. So we forgot that. We forgot our identity. Yaha samahita jivam. We covered, we are thinking this body, and the automatically mind has a natural inclination, proclivity for sense gratification. As soon as we turn away from the Lord, we forgot actually. Yaha samahita jivam. We are thinking that I am the product of this material body. So yaha samahita jivam atmanam trigunatmakam poropi manyatena artham tat kirtam chavipadyate. So Vasudev spoke that due to this external energy, the living entity, although transcendental to the three modes of material nature, think himself as a material product, thus undergoes a reaction of material nature. So as soon as we turn away from the Lord, we are covered by the Maya. And we have been thrown into this sense gratification, particularly when in the base quality like mode of ignorance and mode of what do you say, passion. So therefore, the Vedic system has two kind of path: nivriti, pavriti. So I say that what is that? Pavriti means bhutanam, nivriti mahaphala. So this is for Manusmriti. So he say that a two kind of path is there. Pravriti marga means material entanglement. Nivriti means completely renounced from the material entanglement. So this is stated in these things that the two kind of path is there. Pravritim cha nivritim cha dividhyam karma vaidikam avartate pravrittena na nirvitena ashnute mitam amritam. This 7:15:47. He says that according to Veda, there are two kind of activities, pravriti and nivriti. Pravriti activity involved in raising oneself from a lower to higher condition of materialistic life, whereas nivriti means cessation of material desire. Through pravriti activity, one suffers from material entanglement, but nivriti activity, one is purified, becomes fit to enjoy the eternal blissful life. So there are two kind of activities there. One is to actually that therefore all the Vedic injunction to regulate your pravriti marga, because you have got this natural inclination. So how to elevate that? Therefore Veda is all encompassing. So those who are very lower, inflected by or infected by the lower base quality, how to elevate them? So therefore there is a Vedic injunction, karma kanda section, regulative principle, regulative way of. This kind of indiscrimination sexual things is not approved by the Vedas. So there is a regulated. Otherwise, if you want indiscriminated, then hell is the hellish life is very much, on the, this is the way to hellish life. Even our Prahlad Maharaj spoke on this verse that Matinna Krishna Parato Swatava Mithopi Padyate Grihavartanam Andanto Govi Visatam Tamisram Punna Punna Charvitam Charvanana. Andanto Govi means indiscriminate, excessive. Today's topics is same thing. Forced to drink the semen. These are not the, advocated by the regulative principle by Vedic injunction. So, uncontrolled sense, too much addicted to materialistic life, that progresses, that make progress toward the hellish condition, and repeatedly chew which already chewed. Their inclination toward Krishna never aroused, either by instruction of other or by their own effort. So this is the thing, that how the regulative principle has been introduced, because the Pravriti Marga has to be regulated to elevate the consciousness. Therefore, all this system is there. Even after you marry, there is very nice things is there. You say that all these regulations to elevate these people who are engaged in Pravriti Marga. Those statements of scripture promising fruitive rewards do not prescribe the ultimate good for the man, but are merely enticement for executing beneficial religious duty, like promises of candy spoken to induce a child to take beneficial medicine. This all the kind of Karmakanda section to regulate your sense gratification is kind of, cheating in a way that is inducing a child to take a medicine, beneficial medicine. Otherwise, if somebody is indiscriminately, without following regulation, ye shastra vidya uchchajya, bhattate kam kar, na sukham na vapnati, na paramam, they cannot get anything anywhere. They will be like hellish condition. So therefore, this thing is there, because excessive sense gratification will cause you towards hellish condition. Krishna also spoke this, O saintly Uddhava, a person bereft of real intelligence is considered to have lost everything. Deviated from actual purpose of life, he becomes dull, just like a dead person. This is also like killing your own soul, because excessive sense gratification, which person who is bereft of intelligence, they do not know how to regulate their senses. Even Pravriti Marga also to regulate. Nivritti Marga, anyway, it is renounced man. And the next verses, Krishna says that because of the absorption of the sense gratification, one cannot recognize himself or others. Living uselessly in ignorance, like a tree, one is merely breathing just like a bellows. It's like killing your own soul, suicidal, spiritual suicidal or amnesia. So therefore, all these things, regulative principle has been introduced for that. But sometimes people do not take the regulative principle, but they take the other side. So Krishna says that those ignorant of their self-interest are wandering on the path of material existence, gradually heading towards darkness. Why should we further encourage them in sense gratification if they although fully submissively pay heed to Vedic injunction? This is the pros and cons. The pros is good. If you follow the regulative principle, you can go, you can come to the spiritual eventually. Eventually you come into the spiritual consciousness. But the cons of this thing is that they do not heed to Vedic injunction. Narada Muni also chastised Vyasadeva. You have given so much priority to dharma, artha, kama, moksha. You have not mentioned the bhakti at all. Too much people will not take your Vedic, prohibition. They will take the other side. They will dharma, artha, kama, all the things, they will be excessively inclined to this other part. They will not heed for the, pursue for this liberation or bhakti. You have not broadcasted the bhakti. So here also Krishna is saying that this foolish person, instead of thinking that, oh, this is yesterday also we have Prabhu was telling that how the Calcutta and all. So they, in the name of in the pretext of Vedic injunction, that okay, you offered to Kali and we will take, but they create a slaughterhouse. Excessively, indiscriminately, they are selling this meat and all, under the pretext of Vedic injunction. So people will not heed the advice, Vedic injunction. Rather, they will take the other side. No. So this is the same thing actually. Although sex life is allowed, but with a regulative, all these functions should be regulated by Shastra. Therefore, this is a problem in Pravriti Maga. Our Krishna consciousness is very good. Starting only, we have no intoxication. Then Nivriti Maga, starting only. So, person with perverted intelligence do not understand this actual purpose of Vedic knowledge. Instead, propagate the highest Vedic truth, the flowery statement of the Veda that promises material reward. This is those who are following also. This is not actual purpose. This is for to reform you, to bring eventually. But those who are not following today's verses, this is bikarma. This is even not karma, bikarma, Promise material reward. Those in actual knowledge of Veda never speak in that way. They will not speak like this. No, only thing is this rituals, that rituals, all karma kanda is all in all. Those who are full of lust, avarice, and greed mistake mere flowers to be actual fruit of life. Bewildered by the glare of fire, suffocated by its smoke, they cannot recognize their own true identity. So this is how people do not understand the Pravriti Maga. Even the regulated one also not recommended here. Although it eventually come not recommended. So whole idea of these things is, although it is main idea to bring us, because you see here, say that in this material world the conditioned soul is always inclined to sex, meat eating, intoxication. Therefore, religious scripture never actually encourage such activity. This is just like Prabhupada used to give examples. The liquor shop, the government is opening up liquor shop. That does not mean that he is encouraging everyone go there liquor, take liquor. No. To license that of so many rules and regulation has been imposed. So that license, the particular license, and up to that particular time you can open you cannot open morning and so therefore all the wine shop night time opening. All these scriptural injunction provided for sex through sacred marriage, for meat eating through sacrificial offering, for intoxication through acceptance of ritual cup of wine. Such ceremony are meant for ultimate purpose of renunciation. That means all the Pravriti Maga, although is regulated by Veda, but ultimate destination, ultimate purpose is to Nivriti. You come to the point of Vairagya Vidya, Nija Bhakti Yoga, Vairagya, detached. Not that under the pretext of Vedic injunction you do all the things indiscriminately. This is not allowed. So therefore, it is stated in this verses that according to Vedic injunction, when wine is offered to a sacrificial ceremony, it is later to be consumed by the smelling only, not drinking. Not by drinking. Similarly, sacrificial offering of animal is permitted, but there is no provision for wide-scale animal slaughter. Religious sex life is also permitted. Tamosmi dharma viruddha, 7:11 Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, I am the sex life, but it has to be regulated sex life. It is stated somewhere in Bhagavatam, I think, say that one should have a sex with wife after the 5 days of menstruation period. This is the thing, and to beget a child. So this is injunction. But under the pretext of injunction, we should not have indiscriminately. But only in the marriage for begetting children, and not for sensuous exploitation of the body. Unfortunately, however, the less intelligent materialist cannot understand that duty in life should be performed purely on the spiritual path. So they do not know. Therefore, the knowledge is very important. They have to be educated. Fortunate condition means they have to be educated. Those sinful person were ignorant of actual religious principle, yet consider them to be completely pious without compulsion, commit violence against the innocent animal who are fully trusting them. Such a person will be eaten. Yesterday that Prabhu showed this verse. So how these people, they indiscriminately they do their things. So this is how the sex life, sense gratification also has to be regulated. because it is to be practiced properly, regulated properly. Otherwise, it's very dangerous. You say that the repercussion of this, it is very nice verse. You say that 7:15, I think. Yes. So here it is say that my dear king, a self-satisfied person can be happy even with only drinking water. However, one who is driven by the senses, especially by the tongue and genitals, must accept the position of a household dog to satisfy. That is Raga Maharaj. So household dog to satisfy. How it is compared to household dog to satisfy his senses. Prabhupada writing very nicely that how according to Shastra, the Brahmana cultured person in Krishna consciousness will not enter anyone's service to maintain body and soul together, especially not for satisfaction of the sense. So then all these people, those who are devotees, never driven by dictation. Prabhupada says that. But sense gratification people always. Next verse also, because of the greed for the sake of the senses, the spiritual strength, education, austerity, reputation of a devotee and a Brahmana who is not self-satisfied, dwindle, his knowledge gradually vanishes. That is the repercussion of excessive sense gratification. The repercussion of that is everything, the spiritual strength, austerity, reputations, Brahmanas. Therefore, everything will be dwindled. Even knowledge also gradually vanishes. The strong bodily desires, need of a person disturbed by hunger, thirst, are certainly satisfied when he eats. Similarly, if one becomes very angry, that anger is satisfied by chastisement and its reaction. As for the greed, even the greed person has conquered all the direction of the world, has enjoyed everything in the world. Still, he will not be satisfied. So the sense gratification is such a that it will never be satisfied. It never be satisfied. More and more you think it's like a putting fire into the ghee into the fire. That is stated here. The Jajati spoke very nicely. Few verses. A person who is lusty cannot satisfy his mind. Even he has enough everything in the world, including rice, barley, other food grains, gold, animals, women. Nothing can satisfy. The next verse also is continuing that and supplying butter to a fire does not diminish the fire, but instead increases it more and more. The endeavor to stop lusty desire, the continual enjoyment can never be successful. In fact, one must voluntarily cease from the material desire. So this so-called Pravriti Maga, that he will be satisfied, done and dusted, it doesn't work. It never be done and dusted. It is increasing. And there is therefore it is say that we have got the 5 wives, the beautiful verses. So here it is say that, my dear Lord, O infallible one, my position is like that of a person who has many wives, all trying to attract himself in their own way. For example, tongue is attracted to palatable dishes, the genitals to sex with an attractive woman, the sense of touch to contact with something, the belly, although filled, still wants it more, and the ear, not attempting to hear about you, is generally attracted to the cinema songs. The sense of smell is attracted to yet another side. Restless eyes are attracted to scene of sense gratification. Active senses are attracted to elsewhere. In this way, I am certainly embarrassed. So this is the position, that how the senses are so strong. Otherwise, how these abominable things are coming up? Because senses are so strong. Therefore, Pravriti Maga, Nivriti Maga is there. Ultimately, one has to come to the Nivriti. Because as long as sense gratification, one cannot go back to Godhead. Therefore, it is say that this is all for little sense guy. Yet and Maithunadi Gruhame Risu Sukham Itucham Kandunena Karo Iva Dukha Dukha Ripantinea Kurpana Bahu Dukha Bada Kandutyam Manusyadam Vishayat Dhira. So by all feeding to the feeding to the sense, the repercussion is that Bahu Dukha Dukha is very miserable. painful condition. Therefore, it is not recommended because of the repercussion is very grave and gargantuan. It is not recommended. Therefore, he says that just a deer, because of ignorance, cannot see the water within the well-covered grass, but runs after water elsewhere. Living entity covered by material body does not see happiness within himself, but runs after happiness in the material body. They are captivated by the external glamour of this material existence, particularly due to sense gratification. As Krishna says, that it is the most, enemy, impediment, this enemy, Bairanam, enemy for our spiritual advancement. The greatest enemy for the spiritual advancement. So unless one is educated that how the repercussion of sense gratification is progressing or making us to progress towards hellish condition life, then one cannot, because normal atonement cannot root out the propensity. These are all our natural propensity for sense gratification. Therefore, it is stated that although there are atonement, because after hearing all these hellish condition punishment, Parikshit Maharaj frightened. How these people can get out from this one? Frightened. Then atonement was not the real thing, because atonement, if you do, the tendency cannot be rooted out. The tendency to do that. So for that, it is stated this 6 to 17. Although one may neutralize the reaction of sinful life through austerity, charity, vows, other such methods, this pious activity cannot uproot the material desire in one's heart. However, if one sought the lotus feet of personality of God, and he is immediately freed from all such contamination. So they cannot root out simply by atonement for following. In Jagannath Puri, if you go through the Singadwar, 22 staircase, then turn right, then another 7 staircase, Satapacha. Then behind the Garuda Stamba is called Nata Mandapa. Behind Garuda Stamba, there is a door is there. They call Bhoga Mandapa. All these 56 items, large amount of item was offered. If that is called Sodasana Pancha Upachara. But morning dhupa and all, morning prasadam offered in the Garbhagraha. That is 16 Sodasana Upachara. If you go to the gate and saw the Lord audience hall, and that Jagamohana, that is called audience hall, where you can see the Lord. That is the nearest place. Now they are not allowed. Then you come out, you see Samna, there is a mandap is there. That is called Mukti Mandap. The Brahmanas, that recognized Brahmana, certified Brahmana only can sit. We cannot, or anybody, and they will be allowed to sit there. People will come, today I made a mistake. Now also, I made a mistake. What is the repercussion? What is the injunction to counteract atonement? They will say, okay, today you did thing, today you beat a cow, do this one. Now also, they give the information. They give solution. But that atonement will not root out. So you have to, still tendency is there. Today you go, tomorrow you go like, Christian, they go, forgive me. Then again they repeat it. Tendency has to be go. So therefore, this is the solution. Otherwise, this so-called atonement given by Vedic injunction will not be helpful. So this is the thing, that how these unlimited sense gratifications is very dangerous, very detrimental. The Pravriti Marga is very, very detrimental to our progress in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, Prabhupada in that Pravriti Nivritti is very nicely given a purport. Prabhupada says that as company in Bhagavad Gita, Pravritim cha nirvritim cha janana vidhura asura. The asuras, non-devotee, cannot distinguish between Pravriti and Nivritti. Whatever they like, they do. Such person thinks themselves independent of strong material nature. Therefore, they are irresponsible, and do not care to act piously. Indeed, they do not distinguish between pious and impious activity. Bhakti, of course, does not depend on pious, impious activity. Savai punsam paro dharma jato bhakti rodo kyacha. Ahitikya pritita jadatmas. Prabhupada here making a point that As soon as one is freed from the inclination of toward pious, impious activity, he becomes perfect candidate for return. So our duty is not the pious, impious, either karma or bikarma. We are is akarma. So we are not after this one. Therefore, intel knowledge is very, very important. Unless one is educated, one cannot. Therefore, Krishna consciousness movement is a university of theology or understanding God. Is a Prabhupada's educational center to impart knowledge, to impart education. Otherwise, it is very difficult to understand these things. I mean, how to get out all the things. So therefore, it is said that Krishna spoke to Uddhava, very nice verse. O most intelligent Uddhava, the living entity called Jiva is part and parcel of me, but due to ignorance has been suffering in material bondage since time immemorial. By knowledge, however, it can be liberated. So knowledge is very, very important, transcendental knowledge. Otherwise, people will be deluded. Just like, that person video is saying that Upanayana and all. They do not know what is the meaning of Upanayana also. Bringing, Upa means near to spiritual master, near to Vedic knowledge. So then people will be deluded. This is ignorance only, it is the root cause of all it. Therefore, it is said that out of all kind of achievement, the achievement of spiritual knowledge is very highest. It's a very nice verse. Lord Shiva spoke that Shreyasam ya sarvesam jnanam nisesam param sukham tarati dusparam jnana no vyasanarnam annavam. Narnavam means the ocean. Annavam. So here it is said that in this material world, there are different type of achievement. But all of them, the achievement of knowledge is considered to be the highest because one can cross the ocean of nescience only on the boat of knowledge. Therefore, we request everyone to come to class, educated, to hear. Otherwise, the ocean is impassable. Impassable. Therefore, the transcendental knowledge is very important. Otherwise, controlling senses is very difficult. There is a verse is there in this regard, same thing. You say that the transcendental topics in relations with the Supreme Lord Hari produces the transcendental knowledge, resulting in complete suspension of the webs and willful of material mode. Transcendental topics, why the transcendental topics is very important. That is the perfect question and perfect answer. How Parikshit Maharaj is asking. Because the transcendental topics in relation with Supreme Lord will produce the transcendental knowledge, resulting in complete suspension of the webs and willful of the material. Therefore, Krishna says, Mayasakta manapata yogam minju madasva. Sunu. Asamsayam thumagrammam yat gyasa sita sunu. Sunu means you hear. Otherwise, one cannot get this transcendental knowledge. So in this regard, in Bhagavad Gita, it says that even a person with intelligence cannot discriminate. The senses are so strong or impetuous, Arjuna, that they forcibly carry away the mind. Even a man of discrimination who is endeavoring to control them. So today's topic is how the bikarma, the karma, bikarma. So 417, 418. So karma means regulated principle. 3.8 is actually karma. If you see, 3.8 say that perform your prescribed duty. For doing so is better than not working. One cannot even maintain one physical work. Prescribed duty is karma, that is. And bikarma means yes, shastra vidhi uschajay. All this bikarma. And repercussion is the beautiful verses from 5.4 onwards, 5.5.4 onwards. You say that how nyunam kurute. These are the bikarma. Akarma is 390, jagyante karmano. न्यूनम प्रमाथ कुरुते विक्रम यद इंद्रिय पीति अपन्नति तत्साधुमान्यात्मानयम असनपि क्लेश दासते. So one is engaged in sensible activities. So what will happen? That it has to take another body. Purana punarapi maranam puranapi janam. Therefore, the knowledge is very important to get out from this thing. As long as one does not inquire about the spiritual values of life, one is defeated, subject to misery, arising from ignorance. Be it sinful, pious karma, has its resultant action. If a person engaged in any kind of karma, his mind is called karmatam, colored with footive activity. As long as mind is impure, conscious is unclear, as long as one is absorbed in footive activity, he has to accept material. So whole idea, the root cause is that we are by birth has a natural proclivity of sense gratification. Pravriti marg. We have to come to the Nibriti marg. So Krishna consciousness working on the platform of Nibriti marg. So first thing is four regulative principles. First thing imposed. You Nibrit fast. Our is Vairagya Vidyanija Bhakti. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in this regard, it is very nice. We have had so many questions. Devotees also asking questions. How to get out. Solution has to be there. 327 something, 17. So then 11, 10, Uddhav also asking. Then also Krishna also, Arjuna also asking 336. Another two places also, Nimi Maharaj asking 11, 317. How to get out from the Maya. Then 11, 18, 19, 20. Then another place, the same related thing is coming. That is spoken by the Sanat Kumar to Puttu Maharaj. Puttu Maharaj is asking question. This exactly same, this very nice question. Prithu Maharaj inquired from the sages about person entangled in this dangerous material existence because of their previous action. Could such person whose only aim is sense gratification is blessed with any good fortune? This is the actual question, very, very pertinent question. So how to get out? Is there any hope, any opportunity, any fortune that this person whose aim is sense gratification can get out? That's a very relevant question. The question answer is very, very important thing. A whole Bhagavatam is evolved on the question of Parikshit Maharaj. Yesterday I was giving perfect question, perfect. Whole subject matter of Bhagavad Gita is evolved when Arjuna was boiled or asking Karpani Dasapada. Oh, you see, the question, whole Bhagavad Gita is question and answer. If you see from the beginning, 17 questions has been asked by Arjuna. His answer whole Bhagavad comprises whole Bhagavad Gita. And Prabhupada says that 1937 purport that the question of Parikshit Maharaj is the basic principle of thesis of Srimad Bhagavatam. The inquiry, because whole human being begins, human form of life begins with Atata Brahma Jigyasa, inquiry. Without inquiring, we are animal, deluxe edition of animal. Prabhupada say, deluxe edition of animal life. Inquiring has to be there. But what inquiry? Brahma Jigyasa. Not like IPL status, not political thing. Brahma Jigyasa. 1110 also same thing. Brahma Jigyasa. So this is inquiring has to be there. Therefore, perfect question, perfect answer given by this the Sukadev Goswami. So this kind of questions very important, pertinent. You say that very nice verse. Sangam khalo sadhunam uhesham cha samataha yat sambhasana samprasana sarvesam mitonotisam. So when there is a congregation of devotees, the discussion, question and answer become conclusive to the both speaker and the audience. Thus, such meeting is beneficial for everyone, real happiness. So this question answer things, Ishtagosti, Prabhupada Ishtagosti. So this is very important. Because Prabhupada say among devotees you discuss, like Goswami they used to do Damodar temple, Radha Damodar. So this is very important. The question answer is very, very beneficial. Those who are speaking, those who are anchored 10, 116 also, he say that Vasudeva Katha Prasna, Punnanti. Therefore, there has to be Ishtagosti to more and more understanding the subject matter. Vasudeva Katha Prasna Purusham tin Punanti Bhaktaram Prachakam Shrotim Tat Pada Salilam Jata. So all this Ganges emanating from the Lord Vishnu purified three worlds, the upper, middle, lower. Similarly, when one asks question about the pastime of characteristic of Lord Vasudeva Krishna, there are three varieties of men are purified. Speaker, preacher, he one inquires, people in general. So now the solution has been given by this Kumaras. Kumaras say that Sanat Kumar, my dear king, you already have an inclination to glorify lotus feet of Supreme Lord. Such attachment is very difficult to accept. When one has attained such unflinching faith in the Lord, it automatically cleanses the lusty desire from the core of the heart. So we have to have a positive attachment, because param dushtan nivartante. One cannot, because we have so much rooted natural proclivity, one cannot counteract, or one cannot seize from this one. Therefore Krishna says param dushtan nivartante. The param dushta means higher taste. The higher taste is Krishna consciousness. Therefore here also he says that unless one develops the unflinching faith of the Lord, which is automatically cleanses the lusty desire. Automatically, no need for any external endeavors. It has been conclusively decided in the scripture after due consideration that ultimate goal for the welfare of human society is detachment from the bodily concept of life. Increase and steadfast attachment for Supreme Lord, who is transcendental beyond the modes of material. The solution, conclusively. That is the only way one can really stop or seize this. Otherwise, one cannot. Kamadina katita. So kamadinam. So kama is very difficult. We are serving kama, but once you serve the Krishna, steadfast attachments of Supreme Lord. Vairagya vidya. Both has to be attachment, detachment must be. Wonderful purport you can read later on that one. Prabhupada has given. Attachment for Supreme Lord can be increased by practicing devotional service. How we can attach? The solution given that you have to detach from bodily conception, attach to the Supreme Lord. How the attachment can be increased? Then that is called by practicing devotional service, inquiring about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Jai Shri Radha Madan. Applying Bhakti Yoga in life, worshipping Yogeshwara, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by hearing, chanting about the glories of Supreme Personality of Godhead. These actions are pious in themselves. So this is the process, how we increase the attachment. Maya Sakta Manaha Partha. So this is the way one should attachment by devotional spirit, particularly hearing and chanting. This is solution given by Sanat Kumar. The same question asked how it is possible. One has to make progress in spiritual life by not associating with persons who are simply interested in sense gratification. Very, very important. Association is very important. So many verses are there. 11, 26, 3, one verse is there. Very nice. He says that one should never associate with materialistic, those dedicated to gratifying the genitals and belly. By following them, one falls into the deepest pit of darkness, just like a blind man who follows another blind man. And 1:10:11 also. So he says that associating with person simply engage in sense gratification and making money. Not only such person, but one who associates with such person should be avoided. One should mold his life in such a way that he cannot live in peace without drinking the nectar of the glorification of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we have to mold our life such that one should always hear. Yesterday, quoting 2 days before that, Yadinam, Yudinam, Mane. Tadinam, if you see that those days going to outside for livelihood, if overcast, they say that it's on inauspicious day. But now real inauspicious like Krishna, that Krishna Katha, Piyusha Bhajita. So this is the thing. So you cannot live in peace without drinking the nectar of glorification of the Lord. One can be thus elevated, being disgusted with taste of sense enjoyment. The taste of sense enjoyment cannot go in your own endeavor or any Vedic injunction to counteract it. No. The way that we should be mad, intoxicated after this hearing, then automatically Sinmatam Sokita Vidunati Suistata. All this base quality infection will go away. A candidate for spiritual advancement must be non-violent. This is where we are speaking about non-violent also. Many verses Prabhu quoted. This is also a candidate for spiritual advancement must be non-violent. Must follow the footstep in the footstep of great Acharya. Must always remember the nectar of the pastime of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Must follow the regulative principle without material desire, and while following regulative principle should not blaspheme others. A devotee should lead a very simple life, not to be disturbed by duality of opposing elements. He should learn to tolerate them. So these are the very nice points has been given that how one should practice devotional service. This quality of a devotees. Prabhupada writing this all very wonderful purport, all these verses. The devotee should gradually increase the culture of devotional service by constant hearing the transcendental quality of Supreme Personality of Godhead. This pastime are like an ornamental decoration on the ears of devotee. They are very good verse. By rendering devotional service transcending the material quality, one can easily fix in transcendent in the Supreme Personality of God. The solution has been given. Unless you attach to the Lord, and you cannot detach from the bodily conception, particular sense gratification. The question is arise by this Prithu Maharaj. What is there any hope, fortune for those who are engaged in sense gratification? So this solution has been given. You have to develop attachment by engaging in devotional service. Upon becoming fixed in his attachment to the Supreme Personality of Godhead by the grace of spiritual master, again this is the grace of spiritual master, and by awakening knowledge and detachment, Vairaga Vidya, Vasudeva Bhagavati, Bhakti Yoga Prayojita, Janati Asuvairagyam. So the knowledge and detachment. The living entity situated within the heart of the body and covered by the five elements, born of his material surrounding, exactly as the fire arising from wood burns the wood itself. So this is very important that by the grace of spiritual master. Krishna also say 436, when one is situated in the boat of knowledge, he easily can cross. And next verse he say that fire, it will like a fire burns, it will burn all our sinful reaction. When a person becomes devoid of all material desire, liberated from all material quality, he transcends the distinction between action educated externally, internally. At that time, the difference between the soul and the super soul, which was existing before self-realization, is annihilated. When a dream is over, there is no longer distinction between a dream and dreamer. The stage of liberation, Anyavilasita Sunyam. Prabhupada writing Anyavilasita Sunyam. Jivan Mukta. This is also same thing. In this life also one can. Yadasya Harit Dasa Karmana Manasagira Nikhilasya Avista. So Jivan Mukta. In this material body also one can be liberated if one executed this. When the soul exists for sense gratification, he creates different desire. For that reason, he becomes subject to the designation. When one is in the transcendental position, he is no longer interested in anything except the fulfilling the desire of the Lord. That's the different desires. Soul is designated. Therefore, Narada Muni say Pancharatri, Narada Pancharatri kya? That Sarvopadi Vinirmuktam Tat Paratena Nirmalam Husikena Husikesa Sevanam Bhakti Uchyate. Only because of different cause does a person see difference between himself and others. Just as one sees reflection of the body appearing differently manifested in water and oil in a mirror. So this is the famous verse. When mind and senses are attracted, sense object for enjoyment, the mind becomes agitated. We have already got this verse 11, 13, 25 that natural proclivity is there. So when mind becomes agitated, as a result of continually thinking of sense object, one's real consciousness almost becomes lost. like the water in the lake that is gradually sucked up by the big grass straw on its back. Very, very technically, very technicality of the things, how the mind absorbed and mind is agitated. When mind is agitated, then our real consciousness is lost. Slowly, gradually become forgetfulness of the Krishna. The conditioned life how begin. And this is the famous word. When one deviates from his original consciousness, he loses his capacity to remember his previous position, recognize his present one. When one remembrance is lost, all knowledge acquired is based on a false foundation. When this occurs, learned scholar considers that soul is lost. So how this sense gratification process is very detrimental. It will make your soul to lost, means you will forget, your remembrance will be lost, the awakening will not come. Then only thereafter, if you are fortunate, you come in contact with the spiritual master devotees, then the sleeping soul can be awakened by the process of Sarvanadi Suddha Chitte Karyaika. By hearing, then just like Prabhupada. Prabhupada went to places where all are Javanas, in the American headquarters of Maya, and people are repeated. But how he made them the devotees, that is the potent. When soul is lost, that can be recovered only by the process of hearing from the bona fide spiritual master. Therefore, how they become, they have no pious quality, anything. Although in 3.7.20 it is say that you need piety, you need austerity to meet a devotee, great devotee. But Prabhupada in purport, because somebody may question Prabhupada, what piety this American devotee they are, how they become devotee. Durapai alpame dasa, alpatapasa. So here it is say that person whose austerity is meager can hardly obtain the service of pure devotee, progressing on the path back to the kingdom of Godhead, Vaikuntha. Pure devotee engage 100% in glorifying the Supreme Lord, who is Lord of the demigods and controller of all. But Prabhupada in purport is writing, path of liberation recommended by all authorities to solve the Mahatma, transcendentalist. As per the Bhagavad Gita, as concept, the Mahatma are the pure devotee who are on the path of Vaikuntha, the kingdom of God, who always chant and hear glories of the Lord rather than talk of the dry, profitless philosophy. This system of association has been recommended since time immemorial. But in the age of quarrel and hypocrisy, particularly, it is specially recommended by the Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even if one has no asset of favorable austerity. They do not have any favorable austerity, actually, America. If one nevertheless takes shelter of a Mahatma, you see, they do not have anything. How then this verse is applied, Engage in the pure devotional service of chanting and hearing the glories of the Lord, one is sure to make progress on the path back home, back to God. So therefore, this when soul is lost, only way to awakening the soul is to come in contact with spiritual master, bona fide spiritual master. Otherwise, it's very difficult. They cannot. Therefore, it is stated by I think Maharaj again. I think 4:20-25. He say that my dear Lord, you are glorified by selected verses uttered by great personality. Such glorification of your lotus feet is just like a saffron particles. When the transcendental vibration from mouth of great devotee carries aroma of the saffron dust of a lotus feet, the forgetful living entity gradually remembers. Then when the soul is lost, now soul can be recovered, revived. Krishna consciousness is reviving our consciousness, renovating our consciousness. Saffron dust of a lotus, forgetful living entity gradually remember the eternal relationship with you. Devotees will gradually come to the right conclusion about the value of life. My dear Lord, I therefore do not need any other benediction but opportunity to hear from the mouth of the pure. The previous verse is that I want millions of ears, and like millions of tongues. The previous verse, Puttu Maharaj is asking that, requesting, praying the Lord that I want millions of ears. My dear Lord, I therefore do not wish to have benediction of merging into your existence. A benediction which there is no existence of nectarian beverage of your lotus feet. I want the benediction of at least 1 million of years, for thus I may be able to hear about the glories of your lotus feet from the mouth of your pure devotee. Like millions of, what is that, Rupa Goswami asking millions of tongues to chant, and millions of years to hear. Because Prabhupada is writing in the purport that because the pure devotee has exclusively taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. So the word is very potent and penetrating because it touches the saffron particle on the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord. That make is very potent and very penetrating. So Prabhupada's word, he went to America, somehow or another they do not understand their accent also. Prabhupada sometimes they say, we do not catch the accent of Prabhupada because Indian accent. But still, it's so potent, penetrating their heart. Prabhupada writing in the prayer also. How can I penetrate in the heart? No, in the prayer of Martine, that to make my word so potent, so potent that it will penetrate their heart. So this is the thing that how one should be. This is solution that how one should hear from the mouth of the pure devotees. This solution has been given. Otherwise, soul is lost. It cannot be. Also, another verses is there where it says that you can revive this one. Since the living entity is associated with material nature, he is in an awkward position. But in the human form of life, he is taught how to associate with Supreme Personality of Godhead and his devotee. See, this position can be overcome. It's not that there is no solution. There is solution. The pros and cons are everything. So the good side, positive side, that is Krishna consciousness if you associate with devotee. Therefore, very, very important, this Krishna consciousness movement, Prabhupada say, is giving us the opportunity, is opportunity to associate with devotee. Because associate with devotees, you will have a opportunity to hear. You cannot hear from Panwala and all about this, all the things. So about the transcendental topics matter. So it is stated that in the assembly of pure devotee, yatra uttama shloka gunanubhagam prastuyate gramya katha vigata. How to give up the gramya katha? Just like how to give up a bad association, you have a good association, 1, 10, 11 verse. Similarly, gramya katha, to get out from gramya katha, who are the pure devotee mentioned here? In an assembly of pure devotees, there is no question of discussing material subject like politics, sociology. In an assembly of pure devotees, there is a discussion only on the quality, form, pastime of the Supreme Personality of God. He is praised and worshipped with full attention. In the association of pure devotees, by constantly hearing such topics respectfully, even a person who wants to merge into existence of absolute truth, abandon this idea, gradually become attached to the service of God. The same thing is 5, 18, 11. Association of devotee, one can revive this tendency of sense gratification. By associating the person whom the Supreme Personality of Godhead Mukunda is all in all, one can hear his powerful activities, soon come to understand them. The activities of Mukunda are so potent that simply by hearing them, one immediately associates with Lord. For a person who constantly, very eagerly hears narration of the Lord's powerful activity, the absolute truth, Personality of Godhead in the form of sound vibration, enter within his heart, cleanses all contamination. See, this is the process. On the other hand, although bathing in the Ganges diminishes bodily contamination and infection, the process of visiting holy place can cleanse the heart only after a long time. Therefore, who is the sane man who will not associate with devotee to quickly perfect his life? Simply by giving up the association of worldly people, associating with exalted devotee, anyone can attain perfection of knowledge. With sword of knowledge, so knowledge is important, and that can be received from the devotee association, and caught into piece of illusory association with the material one. Therefore, why the Saturday program, Prabhu is giving class, we are inviting that if you hear means all this sense gratification process, all this bodily concept will slowly diminish. So hearing is important. We should make it a mandatory for initiated devotee to come at least Saturday, once in a week to hear. Only Sunday program is not sufficient, like evening just zoom in, zoom out before outside. But the initiated devotee should have a mandatory to come on Saturday Bhagavatam class. Through the association of devotee, one can engage in the service of the Lord by hearing, chanting, Savanam Kirtanam. Thus, one can revive his dormant Krishna consciousness. Sticking to the cultivation of Krishna consciousness, return home back to God. Even in this life, even in this, no need of procrastination, thief of time. Even in this life, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati used to say, do not stay, do not practice procrastination. Therefore, even in this life, see, even in this life you can go. It's not like it will take time, oh, we will procrastinate. This time Prabhu cannot make it. No, there is a chance, who knows? Krishna may take you back. You have to follow. He is not, we cannot say Prabhu this life. So, happy Krishna conscious birthday. No, may your Prabhu also used to wish that may you this life be your last life. Somebody answered, I still remember. No, I do not want to. I want to another few years until learn more and more. I do not want now. Arey, Krishna is giving chance, you get out now if possible. By following. Why you want to procrastination? Procrastination, thief of time. And Krishna also say that this hearing process, bhakti is the highest, but this bhakti can be achieved by the process of, associating with the devotee. Tesu nityam mahabhageshu mat katha. The katha cannot be sambhamanti ta nirnam jusatam prapuntai agaham. Krishna says to Uddhava, greatly fortunate Uddhava, in the association of such saintly devotees, there is a constant discussion of me. And those partaking in this chanting, hearing my glory, are certainly purified of all sins. And in the next two verses is very important. He says that wherever whoever hears chant respectfully takes to the heart these topics about me, become faithfully dedicated to me, thus achieve my devotional service. How to achieve devotional service? Bhaktim Bindanti, there is a very nice Bhaktim Bindanti te mai. How to achieve the devotional service? Association of devotee, hearing, Krishna is giving very systematically. Bindanti means active. By such hearing, one can active real devotional service. And finally, he says that Bhaktim labdhat sadhava kim anyad avishyasate. What more remains to be accomplished for the perfect devotee after achieving devotional service unto me? That is the sonambanam. Prabhupada is the word sonambanam. Ultimate goal. There is nothing beyond this. That is the highest zenith point, pinnacle point. The Supreme Absolute, whose quality are innumerable, who am the embodiment of all ecstatic spirit. So that is the final last. The process is very simple. You have to associate with devotees and hear from them. By hearing, cultivation, slowly you will gradually come to you will achieve the devotional service. And by the performance of actual devotional service, when you get the bhakti, once you get the final end. So this is the thing. So the sense gratification process only can be counteracted. Otherwise, as Prabhu yesterday was telling, every activity is something we are making mistake. While walking also we are killing. Krishna also say, I think 1848, every endeavor has got some fault, something covered by. Even everybody is covered by the lost also. He says that 338, 338. That a fire is covered by smoke, as a mirror is covered by dust, the embryo is covered by the womb. The living entity is similarly covered by different degree with their loss. So everybody has got the degree is only changed. To get out from the lost is simply association and hearing. That in this way we can. Hearing Krishna Katha 10:33-39 also. He says that by hearing Krishna Katha, one can get out from the lost. Vikreditam Brajavadhu Vir Idam Cha Vishnu Sadhan Anvita Anusinad Atha Bannayadya Bhaktim Parama Bhagavati Pratilabhe Kamam Sri Kamam Hudrogam Asu Apyonati Achirena Dhira. Anyone who faithfully hears and describes the Lord's playfully affairs with younger Gopi Vrindavan will attend Lord pure devotional service. Thus he will quickly become sober and conquer the Lord disease of the heart. The last verse we will see that. Uddhava also, again Uddhava spoke to Krishna. Very nice. So why the material desire? Tava Vikriditam Krishna, same thing Vikriditam. Nunnam Paramam Mangalam. Paramam is supremely auspicious. Karna Piyusam Asadyo Tajjanti Anyaspriyam Jana. Oh my dear Krishna, your pastime are supremely auspicious for mankind, an intoxicating beverage for the ears. Tasting such pastime, people forget their desire for others. The so-called material desire, you do not have to forcefully touch, automatically vanish. And particularly in this age of Kali, if you do so, you can go back to Godhead. Particularly case say that Yani te charitani sa manusya sadhava kalo sinmantam kritayantam cha tarishati anjansa tama. Particularly sadhava kalo. Kali Yuga particularly, this method is very, very prominent and very potent, very effective. My dear Lord, those pious and saintly person who in the age of Kali hear about your transcendental activities and glorify them will easily cross over the darkness of the age. Easily. That's the solution is given. Problem is there, hellish condition is there. So many mistakes, so many sins, knowingly, unknowingly. But easily cross over the darkness. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made it so easy that Ajamila case, so much also sins. The example given, 6th chapter after this. How to get out Ajamila knowingly, unknowingly chant. Chant Hare Krishna. By chanting it covered devotional service. All this devotional service has been, by chanting has been covered. I mean has been completed. That 2 times also it is stated. Another Antya also. Simply by chanting holy name of Krishna once, person relieved from all reaction of sinful life. One can complete the 9 process of devotional service simply by chanting. Another place also in Antya, he says that there's a conversation between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and devotee is asking that what is the best devotional service? Navada Bhakti is best. Out of Navada Bhakti, chanting is the best. I think 4 something. Antya. Forget it. Hi. So this is easy process. So this is the thing. So this is a repercussion is there for sense gratification or engaging this. Everything has to be regulated, but whole idea is this Krishna consciousness is so good. You don't have to go for all this regulative principle and all this Vedic injunction for Prabhuti marks to counteract all the things. Nibhiti marks at once you become purified simply by in association with the devotees hearing from him. So thank you very much. So if you have any question, comments, anything to be add, subtract, fill.
No camera. It will not done.
So, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So, Prabhu, like, example, my sister's daughter, okay, she has been following Krishna consciousness for last 4-5 years, maybe more than that. She's following all 4 principles and all, but she got through MBBS last year. And she doesn't want to continue with that. She wants to stay as a bhaktin and do a full-time things and all, but her parents are forcing. But she's doing, no doubt. But where will place that karma? She's telling, I'm not enjoying that, doing that MBBS. But my parents is telling is like, you do, maybe in future you can serve all your devotees. Like in Vrindavan, see their doctor came and healed Kunti Mataji. So if all we become full-timer, if all start preaching, then where the doctors will come? How they will get healed in the future? And where will place those karma? It is a karma or vikarma or a real karma. The doctors, what they are doing.
Yeah, say that Taktya Sodharmam Charanajam Bhujam Hare Bhajam Apakotya Patiti Tadjadi Jatra Ko Bhadram Bhabhadram Abhud Amusya Kim Kavarta Abhajatam Sudharmam. Say that a person somehow you don't like, no, because it detests coming. One who has forsaken his material occupation to engage in devotional service of the Lord may sometimes when fall down also. Arjuna is asking the same question. Sometimes fall down. While in an immature state, yet there is no danger of his being unsuccessful. On the other hand, a non-devotee, though fully engaged in occupational duty, does not gain anything. So whole idea is that our savai punsam poro dharma, the dharma means occupational duty. Savai punsam poro dharma dhato bhakti radhakya. Our real occupational duty to engage in Krishna consciousness service. So that is the highest. All others are subsidiary. All others are binding actually, unless it is helping, like Arjuna is doing, is a military man, but he is helping. He is engaged his service in the Krishna. So then it is okay. Otherwise, if a person also give up, then no loss. This Jesus Christ say, what what profiteth a man can gain, losing the soul. Yeah, to gain the whole world but loses the soul. The soul is lost means everything is lost. So all the material things are very temporary. This is stated by this, I think, Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj say that one reaches beautiful wife, female friends, one son, daughter, resident, one domestic element, cows, elephant, horse, treasury, economic development, sense gratification. Even in the lifetime, one can enjoy all this material opulence, certainly temporary and flickering. Since the opportunity of human life is temporary, what benefit can this material opulence give to the sensible man who has understood himself to be eternal? So there is nothing. If you become PhD, doctor, engineer, doesn't matter. People, those are doctor, let it be. But our thing is how to become Krishna conscious and go back to God. That is the aim of life. So all other things are temporary. What is the gain? What is the gain of thing? Since the body itself is ultimately meant to become stool sarar, what is the meaning of paraphernalia related to the body, such as wife, resident, wealth, children, relative, servant, friends, kingdom, treasures, treasury, animals, and ministers? They are also temporary. What more than can be said about? Even though your sister daughter gives up not only education, your sister also, nothing lost. Nothing lost. Or family, nothing lost. If Krishna consciousness should be executed under all circumstances, there is words also there. So this is all this temporary thing. So whole idea, the main thing is that savai punsam paro dharma, sarva dharman parityada mamekam saranam. That is the aim. That is the highest goal of life. So all other thing, even after you give up, we are not losing anything. Prabhu can answer more better. I can. Prabhu, Prabhu can answer more better.
Bhagavad Gita, no? Krishna says to Arjuna, chapter 6, by all means become a yogi.
646. So here Prabhu is saying that, Krishna is saying that in all conditions you become a yogi. A yogi is greater than ascetic, greater than empiricist, greater than pudding worker. Therefore, Arjuna, in all circumstances, be a yogi.
So the idea is to become a devotee. Don't worry, there will be many doctors, many engineers, and many, and we will engage them in Krishna's service. You understand? There will be many, like your hand, 5, they're all not the same. Not everyone will become devotees. You understand? But we want to encourage everyone to become a devotee. But not everyone will become a devotee. So those who don't, we engage them in Krishna service. Like some of you are software engineers, some of you are, but our idea is to make you become servant of Krishna. Can you take that verse, Bhagavad Gita 18, Abhyarchara?
18. No, 48,
No.
na?
One verse
48,
before
48, that karma, na, 48.
No, one verse before this.
No, one more before. 47. 46.
Abhyatamcha abhichara. This 46.
So,
No.
yes.
Tam abhyachara. Yeah.
Abhyachara.
Okay. Can you read?
By worship of the Lord, who is the source of all being, who is all providing, a man can attain perfection through performing his own work.
See that? You understand? You understand this word? Can you explain?
Yeah, by worship the Lord, who is the source of all being, who is all providing, man can attain perfection through performing his own active, whatever your own work, one can attain the perfection by worshipping the Lord. So by Krishna consciousness, whatever, either engineer, doctor, whatever you may be, what one can achieve through the by worshipping the Lord.
So you understand, we are not against being a doctor, engineer, lawyer. We are not against. But we want you to become a devotee. You follow?
What if the person is not interested to become a doctor?
Huh?
What if the person is not interested to become a doctor, but he is pushed to become a doctor so that he can serve the devotee? That was the question, right? The person is not interested to become a doctor, so you only can serve devotee patients.
What? I didn't understand. If he is not wanting to be a doctor, you force him, then how you will become a doctor? See, parents are not very. I mean, look, if I am not a full time, I cannot make someone full time. That's not possible. So the now you are not full time. So you only think about making that person work like you, because you can only bring someone to your level of understanding. You cannot bring him someone to beyond that. That's not possible. You understand this point? So the parents are not educated to know what's Krishna consciousness. So naturally they will inhibit. They say, no, 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 don't become. You become a devotee. How you going to have livelihood? How you going to earn? How you going? Because they don't have the understanding. You follow? They are just like Daksha was telling Narada, no?
Yeah. What is that? For
Daksha was saying to Narada, correct, why you teaching my sons all to become, huh? How this is how they will benefit,
yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
You follow? So person's realization is so much, and one who is becoming a devotee, that becoming a devotee is because of his previous life, as nobody has control of that. Can you go to the verse
45.
645? See, by his Purva Abhisena, yes, 6.
No, 45. This 22, sir.
Just like an example of
कोनो भाग्य करो संसार खेमको साधु संगे तेव कृष्णा रति उपजाय. Yeah, that is a purport, na pious activity. Bhakti Vinod Thakur. This one.
no, go to 645.
645. Oh, this one. Prabha.
You see that? Can you read?
And when the yogi engage himself with sincere endeavor in making further progress, being washed of all contamination, and ultimately achieving perfection after many, many births of practice, he attains the supreme goal.
So you see the word there automatically. Hello. Can you go up? No, not this. 44.
Oh,
644.
before, yeah. Purvabhyasana.
Yeah. See this here. Can you read this? Can you read this?
By virtue of the divine consciousness of his previous life, he automatically become attracted to the yogi principle, even without seeking them. Such an inquisitive transcendentalist stands always above the ritualistic principle of the scripture.
You see this point? So the person wants to become a devotee. Correct? Because why? Last life. that the parents have no control. You understand? So they are forcing him, not just like Hiranyakasipu was forcing Prahlad
Yeah.
not to become a devotee. But it's not going to be possible because this is all under the control of the Lord. You understand? Who go where, what? This is not in your hand or your father's hand or mother's hand. It is in the hands of the Lord. So who's going to become a devotee? Who's going to become a doctor? Who's going to become a Sudra? That is all according to that verse, 11, 7, 11, 30, 35, is it? Lakshanam.
That is, yes, 35. Yes, L. Lakshanam.
See this verse. Yasya
Jasya
ya
Lakshanam.
lakshana proktam.
So if one shows the symptoms of being a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Sudra, described above, even if he has appeared in a different class, he should be accepted according to those symptoms of classification.
So according to one's guna and karma. Correct? You cannot force someone to do something when they don't want to do what you can do. Correct? That's the parents, of course, they think that they're providing the best. Of course, their love is there, but this is beyond your control. Correct? Suppose someone wants to be a devotee, the parents can, like this guy, he wants to be a devotee. His father came and fought here. Correct? He said he will set fire to this temple.
Yeah.
So, how you can stop that? Correct? And someone wants to be a devotee, cannot become a devotee. Now, so you see, it's all beyond your control. The Lord is the controller. You follow? Now your argument, if everybody become devotee, then who's going to do? No, Krishna already said in Bhagavad Gita, Chatur Varnya Maya system.
Guna karma.
Guna, I already, he's already making that arrangement. Who is going to become what, correct? Yeah. See here.
According to the three modes of natural nature, the work ascribed to them. The four divisions of human society were created by
Were
me.
created by me. Can you see that word? It is not arranged by their father or grandfather. It's created by Krishna. So who is going to become Brahmana? Who is become Sudra? Who is going to become? It is already there. According to your previous karma, what you have done, will take over that service.
Everyone is obliged to his karma.
Yes. So you cannot change things around. This is all the. Huh?
So, Prabhu, like she's doing her activities, like they started cutting the dead bodies and all. So she's not enjoying it, and she's telling, "This is what I'm not supposed to do." Krishna didn't say this one. So where will place this one? So this is all akarma or vikarma.
Yeah.
Akarma, karma, different subject altogether. When a person is destined to do these things because of his previous life. You understand? You can go 429. 429, there's a verse Narada is saying, what you do this life will determine your action for the next life.
429, 58. 58. 58.
So this is how your next life, what can
The
you read
result
this?
of whatever living entity does in this life are enjoyed in the next life.
Is that? So this is practically your karma, you know. Akarma and vikarma. Karma means also you will do vikarma. In karma, you cannot just do karma, you will also do vikarma because enjoying senses, you will also Just like the story of King Nirga, no?
Yeah.
That he kept one cow away, got implicated, right?
Become lizard.
Yeah. So the main thing is that the conditioned soul is stuck in this world, going through the process.
Cycle of karmic
Yes.
reaction.
That Bhagavad Gita 9.3. Those who have no faith will
Asadhana Purusha.
go on the cycle. And a person who has no faith will force someone to do better still. Prabhu, you go to 5.5.16.
Yeah, ignorance. Due to ignorance, the materialistic person does not know anything about his real self, auspicious path in life. He is simply bound to material enjoyment by lusty desires. Now all his plans are made for this purpose, to temporary sense gratification. Such a person creates a society of envy, and due to this mentality, he plunges into the ocean of suffering. Such a foolish person does not know about this.
Prabhu, 15. No. Go to 17.
Oh, that how a blind person can.
Yeah.
If someone is ignorant and addicted to the path of samsara, how can one who is actually learned, merciful, and advanced in spiritual knowledge engage him in fruitive activities, thus further entangle him in material existence? If a blind man is walking down the wrong path, how can a gentleman allow him to continue on his way to danger? How can he approve this method? No wise or kind man can allow this.
So now this verse, you turn it around. In other words, someone who is engaging someone in fruitive work. That means he's leading him to what is it? Now you rephrase this verse. If suppose I am engaging you in fruitive work, then what does it mean in this verse?
That means, yeah.
That means I'm putting the soul in danger. Is it not? How could a blind man who is walking the wrong path, how could a sane gentleman allow him to continue? In other words, he is allowing him to go in this way. If someone is pushing someone to do job of a lawyer, engineer, doctor, and not become Krishna conscious, that means he's doing this. Is
That
it not?
means reverse one means
Is it not?
putting
So
into
you
danger.
are saying their parents are very important. Now here this verse says they are greatest fool. You understand now?
Another verse is there,
So who is the greatest fool?
where the saint
Someone
person
who does
should
not bring
encourage
someone to
fruitive
Krishna
activity.
consciousness.
A devotee should not encourage
You
fruitive
understand
activity.
now? Huh? The goal of the human life is to become Krishna conscious. Period. Anything other than that is conditioning, putting him into the cycle of birth and death. How much pain is there? You want someone to be suffering in pain, or you want to liberate that person? So what you want to teach him? Engineer, doctor. Then what? What would you teach him? That's all. You should tell the parent. You should call them up now and tell them.
The next verse also, Guru na sasyat, Pita na sasyat. One should not be parents, no. One who cannot deliver is dependent from the path of repeated birth and death, should never become a spiritual master, a relative, a father, husband, mother, or worshipable demigod.
Just like you mentioned that if the person is inclined to devotional service, no matter what the parents do, no control, right? Then you give his example and her example. So if because it's already predetermined by the Lord who is going to take up Krishna conscious. Yes. Now, if we are putting in the devotee situation, let's say devotee children already predetermined by their karma to be born, but if they are not going to become full-time devotees, then how do you answer that?
People, okay, we make them Gurukul, everything, but
This is because of their association with the non-devotees. Can you see if they go to school, they are associating with the atheistic system of education.
For example, Mayapur, Vrindavan, all association, devotee, all food program, everything.
Yeah, because this is, you can explain, because of karma. The person is attracted to,
Who is become devotee and who is not? That's directly depending on God.
of
No matter
course,
how much food there is.
yes.
So
In
that's
fact, you see, all those people who had children during Prabhupada's time, during Prabhupada's time, there were many children, Gurukul and all that. But there's nobody become devotee. Why? That's his question. Okay. So who becomes devotee, who don't become devotee? That is due to 429:26.
Yeah, that's independence, misuse of independence.
This is because of free will. You got your free will.
The living entity by nature has a minute independence to choose his own good or bad fortune. But when he forgets the supreme master, the personality of Godhead, he gives himself unto the modes of material nature, Being influenced by the modes of material nature, he identifies himself with the body and for the interest of the body become attached to various activities. Sometimes he is under the influence of the mode of ignorance, sometimes mode of passion, sometimes mode of goodness. The living entity does get different type of bodies under the modes of material.
Minute independence, free will. He can choose. Although he got a devotee background and everything set up, but if he choose to become independent, then what to do? Sometimes when a person is put into a devotional life circle, because of being forced by the parents to do so many things, he revolts. That's also there. I don't want to be a devotee. What you can say? Huh? What that? No, what you can do? This is a material world. Material world, every step is dangerous.
Like even myself and even Nimai Nitai, actually we were not interested in, because even from young we were brought into this whole thing. Towards the later stages in our life, then only by Krishna's mercy only we came back. Otherwise, I have no interest in coming to Krishna consciousness.
Yeah.
Bilvamangal Thakur, he was not interested. He was doing, with Chintamani. Right? Yes, that's why that's now we showed the verse Purva Abhishena. That previous life piety is very important. It says in 728. You see this 728, this verse.
Person who have acted piously in the previous lives, in this life, whose sinful reactions are completely eradicated, who are freed from the duality of delusion, engage themselves in my simplicity.
Can you go to that verse that by I choose?
I
You know
choose.
the verse?
Yeah.
Yeah. What? Yeah, you see this verse. No, it's from the Upanishad. Yeah. Nayam Atma.
नायम आत्म प्रवचनेन लभ्य न मेधया न बहुना सूत्रेण यम विभेयसे विन्नुते तेन लभ्य तस्यैष आत्म विमुन्नते तनुम स्वम. The supreme self cannot be reached by argumentation, by applying one's independent brain power, or by studying many scripture. Rather, he alone can achieve the self. Rather, alone can achieve the self whom the self chooses to favor. To that person, the self reveals his own true personal form.
See, unless the Lord chooses. You understand? Otherwise, otherwise, how you become a devotee? You're not interested. Because your previous life, so many things you have done. Just like Visvambhara Thakur, he was actually almost close to Bhava state already. But he was very much attracted to Chintamani. So Prabhupada writes that the spiritual master, that's why the spiritual master comes back again and again to save you. You know that point, I think you sing every morning. Right? So how the spiritual master comes and again to save you. This example of Chintamani is through Chintamani, the spiritual master made what? Bilvamangal Thakur realize his, previous Krishna consciousness. If only you had such devotion for the Lord, how much a devotee you will be. Right?
100, 150,
Then when he heard that, his
157.
previous spiritual connection woke him up. You understand? So in your case, I don't know what triggered. That's because the mercy of the Guru. That's why Prabhupada said, don't make me come back again and again. Why he said that? Because as you see today class, how powerful sense gratification is. Could be. I cannot speculate. Anything can be there. That's why he says, by the mercy of the Guru Krishna Prasada Paya, Bhakti Lata Beach. That's why once you get, that's why this verse, Bhagavad Gita 4:34, we read, no?
Yeah.
What is that? You must have spiritual master, correct? Tadvidi Parnipaten.
Yeah.
The next verse you see here. It says there, Yad Gyan, or Sanskrit. Yad Gyantwana Punar Moham. See the word there? Once you get this, you will not go into illusion. Temporarily you may be covered, but Krishna will again reawaken your true consciousness. How? By the mercy of the spiritual master. Without the mercy of the spiritual master, you cannot go to Krishna. That's Shastra. Huh? You follow this point? Are you understanding? Huh? So therefore, if you can get devotional service, you are considered to be the most Bhagyavan. That's one. What is that? Guru Krishna Prasada Paya?
Bhakti Lata. Kono bhagyavan jiva.
Kono Bhagyavan Jiv. So you are not sitting here because of some luck, Otherwise, you can be sitting next door. Or you can sit upstairs. You can go anywhere. But why you are put here? Because you are fortunate. You understand? This is Kono Bhagyavan Jeev. Yeah? See the word there? Bhagyavan. You know what the meaning of Bhagyavan? Huh? One who has got fortune. Bhagya.
So even in devotees, Prabhupada said that there are devotees in three modes, and then the modes are like multiplying with the combinations. 3 times 3, 9, 9 times 9, 81. So there are many types of devotional service also. And if a devotee, after becoming a devotee, if he cheats others, like some of what is happening in ISKCON, then there is a good possibility that he can take birth in the next life as a devotee, but may be cheated in the devotional process, just like he cheated others in the devotional process. So, just to continue the question, So sometimes even when a person is born in devotional circumstances, he can go astray, and even his parents may not be very fixed up devotees, or his association of devotees may not be fixed up devotees.
Sometimes the progress of imperfect transcendentalists is checked by attachment to family members, disciples, or others, who are sent by the envious demigod for that purpose. But on the strength of their accumulated advancement, such imperfect transcendentalists will resume their practice of yoga in the next life. They will never again be trapped in the network of foodie work.
Even if the sannyasi falls down, he goes to the next life as a plant or a tree or what in the holy place, and that last life he goes back as a monkey or the what pig. So you see, that's why it says 7:7:37 is
Repeated birth and death. Real problem of life is it.
see this. Once you take up this process,
The real problem of life is the repetition of birth and death, which is like a wheel rolling repeatedly up and down. This wheel, however, completely stops when one is in touch with Supreme Personality of Godhead. In other words, by the transcendental bliss realized from constant engagement in the devotional service, one is completely liberated from the material existence. All the learned men know this. Therefore, my dear friend, or sons of Asura, immediately begin meditating upon worshipping the Supreme Super Soul within everyone's heart.
is that you have to understand the objective is to get attachment to Krishna.
Yeah.
Either you become a doctor, engineer, lawyer, whatever. The whole purpose of life is to get somehow or other connected to Krishna. And if you fail, that's why the verse that's now you quoted 1:5.
1517.
Even if you fail, there's no loss. There's no loss. You understand? Even if you fail as a devotee, there's no loss. But if you fail as a doctor, there's loss, complete loss. You have to come back again, study in medical school all over again. But if you become a devotee, you fall down, no loss. You understand? That's why Krishna says you will take birth in heavenly planet, enjoy, and then come back again, start over. You understand? But one who become a doctor, when he fail, he doesn't go to heavenly planet. So what kind of risk you're putting him into? Hello? Morally, it may seem very nice, Morally, it may seem very nice. But what is the use of this moral thing, Our whole idea is to reconnect ourselves spiritually. Because we are not moralists. We are spiritualists. Yes? Yes or not? Would you want your son to be a doctor or a devotee? Then why you say all these crazy things? And then why you say all these crazy things? Because of lack of knowledge. Because of lack of knowledge. That's why that's not the word, for a person who is a gentleman, how you can see someone proceed to what? A blind person to what? A dark well, this is not correct. You understand? That's why the only person who can only help you or bring you success is a devotee. Right? See? 11:3:21.
11:8:21.
11:3:21.
Oh, that is the smart service. Tasmat Gurun Prapadyate. So here, therefore, any person who seriously desires real happiness must seek a bona fide spiritual master and take shelter of him by initiation. Qualification of a bona fide guru is that he realizes the conclusion of the scriptures by deliberation and is able to convince others of this conclusion. Such a great personality who have taken shelter of Supreme Godhead Leaving aside all material considerations should be understood to be bona fide spiritual master.
You see the word on the top, real happiness. See? Therefore, any person who seriously desires real happiness, anything other than this is not real happiness. You understand? You follow? Huh? There's one story about this, One lady, she brought up a son, So she will give the son anything the son wants. So the son fell into bad company, started robbing, and finally he committed murder. You know the story, right? Right? So then when he was sentenced to death, he asked, "Where I want to speak to my auntie, I think." Huh? Said, "I want to speak to her privately." So when she came near to talk to him, and he bite her ears. Said, "Because of you, I'm now in this position. Because you didn't guide me properly. Now I'm going to hang and die." You understand? So this is why it's very important that verse we quote, no? Father is not the real guru.
5518. One who cannot deliver dependence from the path of repeated birth and death
No,
should
no,
never
no,
become
no,
a
not this verse. 5, what? Shastra is the, 20. The last one is 20. I think it's 5, 6. 5, 6, 20. That Daksha is speaking now. Harsaswa, the son.
65.
6, 5. 6, 5, 20. I don't think.
Narada Muni asked how
Let's
one
see.
could.
Yeah.
Narada Muni had asked how one could ignorantly defy one's own father. The Haryaswas understood the meaning of this question. One must accept the original instruction of the Shastra. According to Vedic civilization, one is offered a sacred thread, a sign of second birth. One takes a second birth by dint of having received the instruction in the Shastra from a bona fide spiritual master. Therefore, Shastra scripture is the real father. All the Shastra instruct that one should end his material way of life. If one does not know the purpose of the father's order, the Shastra is ignorant. The words of material father who endeavors to engage his son in material activity are not the real instruction of the father.
Is that line there? The words of a material father who endeavors to engage his son in material activities are not the real instruction of the father. So I hope we have proof our case. What are you going to tell them now? Make them a doctor? Anything else?
मंत्रा से भाव की जाए ताय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जाए।